This isn't all sweaty, but I just took clothes out of my gym bag. Hence the very sexy attire, actually. So I was too busy to start at the normal time today, but I was while I was working, I was able to watch Sessions testify, and to be clear, I did vote for Trump. Politically, I'm a centrist. Not a big fan of either party, Republicans or Democrats. There's not really a third party that I'm super into. I guess the closest would probably be the Green Party based on my voting record. But really, I try to evaluate individual candidates. I voted for people from pretty much all the parties. Nah, not really. I think I've only voted for people from the two mainstream and the Green Party. I've never voted like... maybe I voted for a Constitution Party dude one time. But pretty much it's been Green and then Republicans and Democrats. But anyway, that's like my political compass I view it through. In fact, we did a talk on the political compass. We go over mine in detail, and we had y'all take it in the chat. It was super fun. A lot of people were comparing and stuff. That's over on the YouTube archive if you want to check that out. So if you want a fuller explanation of my politics. But I like what Sessions had to say today. If you didn't get to catch it, Gork, the general testimony was that essentially the majority of what the media publishes about Russia is complete bullshito, as not only backed up by Comey in his testimony last week, but Sessions today was pretty salty, understandably so, about like the innuendo about his character, and especially because it's all bullshit and all this, right? Couple partisan Democrats were honestly hysterical to the degree that the chairman had to like calm this one particular congresswoman down and call back order, because she was just like asking Sessions questions and not even letting him answer and be like, bleh. But it was all bullshit. It was nothing. In the end, the only area of fishiness to my eyes, which I think is Sessions just thoroughly covering his ass because he knows Trump is an asshole, is essentially the president has a constitutional right to something called executive privilege, which means that they can have confidential communications with their cabinet members, which, for the interest of, I guess you could say, national security, even though this is like an OG, it's before that national security was like a term. I don't know exactly how it works. Why don't we pull it up real quick? Why don't I use the internet? Man, everybody's searching for this. Alright, so the simple definition is that the privilege claimed by the president for the executive branch of the U.S. government of withholding information in the public interest. Essentially, even though, again, some partisan people try to spin it like Sessions was like super hiding, Sessions was basically saying there are certain things, conversations I had with Trump, that I'm not going to talk about here today, but I'm happy to talk about in the future, because I need an opportunity to review what information Trump wants to invoke executive privilege on. Then we're good. But some of the partisan people try to spin it like he was like hiding stuff. He's like, no, he has a constitutional right, and he's like, I'm trying to respect that. So the only way I can do that is if I have an opportunity to review. And even at the end, if you actually have a chance to watch it, the chairman, Burr, from North Carolina, reminds Sessions, like, here's what we need next. We need, like, your documents so that you can prove any timelines and stuff just for the sake of the investigation. Oh yeah, before I forget, another part of this was he explained when and why he recused himself. And he had a pretty simple explanation, essentially by the code that the Department of Justice operates by. He was required to by law. So again, I was pretty happy with what he had to say in that department. So essentially, I guess the basics of what transpired was Sessions explained when he recused himself, why he recused himself. He was required to by the way that the Department of Justice operates. He explained the letter him and the Deputy Attorney General wrote regarding Comey's performance recommending termination and how that originated way before. I think I have a package, but they should leave it. What up, crazy old gamer? The ship is sailing away from you. That's the answer to your question. Sorry, I was just on a roll, and then I think I just got a package I gotta go get in a minute. But hopefully they'll just leave it. So he explained the recusal. He explained his recommendation for Comey's termination. Now, something new that they talked about that I didn't know anything about is apparently Trump also said that he fired Comey due to the Russia thing, which I haven't really looked into whether or not Trump actually said that. It sounds like some shit he would say, but it was the basis of the recommendation for his termination. The handling of Hillary Clinton's email investigation. And in particular, that went back, they cited some stuff from Eric Holder, the previous Attorney General, during the 2012 election, advising the Department of Justice not to, like how they were constitutionally required not to fuck with the elections by revealing information about investigations. Because I think there was some like Obama weapons deal going on then. And he wanted to remind the Department of Justice not to talk about that really with the press because it could affect the outcome of the election. So that part is a little sus as well. But overall, it seems like most of the accusations and such a thing is it's all bullshit-o. So it's like, so extrapolating from it, it's like really suspect, this Russian narrative. Like, I might talk about this for a little bit. We've been talking for maybe about 20 minutes already. Damn. Because there's a lot of aspects to this. One aspect is the Russia narrative, like where it originates and what is its purpose. Now, the non-narrative, the real shit is this. Russia affects or attempts to affect U.S. politics through an active measure that is essentially they hit the voting databases, and then they use that information, demographic info, to build Twitter profiles that are they look like just normal people. To promote, or for the most part actually disparage Hillary Clinton, but also promote Trump. So it would be like a systematic thing where based on, it'd be like, all right, I'll scan Wisconsin. That's a big state. And then they get the voter rolls. And this is like, Russia does do this. This is how they interfere. They get the voter rolls, then they use that to create bots on Twitter, other social media, and leave comments and stuff that are mostly hitting Hillary and also pro-Trump. And then if you go to the page, it's got like a picture and then like a couple words that came up a lot, like conservative, God, whatever, depending on the area. And it's simple. They don't have the sophistication to actually fuck with our election results, so good. That's kind of the propaganda is like the biggest way that they hack the election, right? There's a lot of indication that the DNC leak was a leak, not a hack. There's some susness about that as far as the servers were never examined by the FBI. They were examined by a third-party IT company. I personally, at this point, believe it to be a leak based on what I've seen, but who knows? So in that case, part of the Russia narrative could maybe be to try to cover the info from this leak. And then that gets into the whole Seth Rich conspiracy theory, which that one's really hard to tell what the fuck is going on. Sucks that dude died. That's really the main thing. No matter the reason. But man, it sucks a lot more if it's an assassination or some shit. Like, what the fuck? Then you had that other like federal prosecutor who died. You had, I guess, supposedly Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was the former chair of the DNC, like threatening some lawyers who were suing the DNC with like a voice changer, but she didn't change her number. I don't know if that's very fake news or what. So there's a lot of aspects to like where this narrative is really coming from. It's not like Russia's the only country that does it. It came up today. China is another huge one. That's a more corporate espionage, but they hit it up. Anyone who can fuck with some shit will try to fuck with some shit. That's the basics of it. And the internet's the equalizer. You can be in fucking Bulgaria, like, so. Now, Comey. What is Comey up to? I have no fucking idea, dude. Is Comey insane? Is Comey... Like, I have no idea what is up with the Comester. I have no clue. His behavior is ridiculous. I really don't know. He could be just making a lot of shit up. And even the stuff that he says is true is super weird. And even when Sessions was testifying about Comey's behavior, he was like, he even felt his behavior is kind of weird. Like, he was coming to, because one thing is, if you're the director of the FBI, your boss, your direct report is the deputy AG, and not the attorney general himself. But Comey would like go to Sessions and be like, "Oh, I don't want to be alone with Trump." It was like Comey. This is just my like impression. But based on all the testimony I've heard and the facts I've seen personally, like Comey's trying to make some big like story up. But why? Like, what's going on? Like, it's some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. Politics is like House of Cards right now. It's ridiculous. It's like better because you have no idea. I mean, it sucks. Real people are dying. That's bad. Yeah. Stop assassinating people so we can enjoy this, please. All right. But it's pretty ridiculous. My personal take on it is pretty much in the middle as usual. Russia definitely does the active measures I talked about. A lot of other countries hack. Nothing new. US is kind of lagging behind in how to deal with that, in my opinion. But one thing that Trump did do that I think is good is opened a center for social media military intelligence, like fighting ISIS propaganda and shit. And he opened it right in the middle of Saudi Arabia. He's like, so I like that. That'll help with the whole cyber thing. The cyber. I'll be curious to figure out what the fuck is overall happening. I feel like Comey might be full of some shit. Curious what's going on that Sessions has to protect Trump's executive privilege on. Looking forward to finding out what the fuck that is. One like theory I saw on the internet was, and it honestly sounds kind of plausible the more this unfolds, but again, this is some conspiracy shit. Russian intelligence who loves to play on that internet discovered some very fishy business with the Democratic primary, with the in-power Democrats spying on the Trump campaign to try to get something to own them, stuff like that. And Russia's like, man, this is a good way to get in with this dude who might be fucking president. So Russia goes out on a limb and tells him, look, we were doing some hacking, right? Trump's like, yeah, of course you fucking were. And they're like, well, we discovered evidence that, you know, you're getting spied on, that the DNC rigged the primaries, this, that, and the other. And maybe they cut a deal like Trump's like, well, you guys have to fucking quit hacking. And the reason I mentioned that is it would explain one of the things they came up with, they brought up a lot was like, has Trump ever seemed concerned about this, or have you know, heard this or that? Like any type of concern about what Russia's doing? And I'm thinking like, man, if they know in the back of their head that they've cut this deal where it's taken care of, then nah, maybe they wouldn't talk about it. And that might be one of the holes in their like obfuscation of it is they know in the back of their head they've made this deal, worked it out, so they're like, let's not really worry about it. But anyway, they let it, you know, this is another conspiracy theory I've seen out there. They let the Trump campaign know that was going on, and And then how that would tie in is the executive privilege stuff that Sessions wants to make sure he can answer questions about before he goes ahead and does it. Could be related to some kind of investigation of what was going on then. You know what I mean? I think that might be everything about it. Could be everything about it. If you're watching this in the future on YouTube, let me know if I missed anything. That's kind of my impression of it. Alright, it's time for the video. Let me update the title.